Chapter 5, Languages, by Addie, Laura, and Samantha. Today I will be introducing you to Kyushu 1, Where Are Languages Distributed? By Addie Marufo. Language and Migration. Studying languages have given the conclusion that the current geography of languages today is mostly caused by relocation diffusion. A famous example of relocation diffusion is when the Spaniards came to Mexico and made them speak their language. Because of that, Mexicans now speak Spanish, even though the origin of Spanish started in Europe. How to organize languages. A language family is a collection of languages that have a common ancestor that existed long before recorded history, the most famous one being Indo-European. A language branch is a collection of languages within a family related through a common ancestor that existed several thousand years ago, an example being Slavic. A language group is a collection of languages within a branch that share an origin with a relatively recent past, an example being Russian. And in this image, we can organize languages through a forest, as the language families are the tree trunks, the language branches are the tree branches, and the individual languages are the leaves, and Russian is a leaf. Distribution of Indo-European languages. The Indo-Iranian group consists of Persian in Iran, Pashto in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and Kurdish in Turkey. Indo-Aryan. Hindi is used in India, and Bengali is the official language for Bangladesh. The Germanic branch has the North Germanic group, and all four of those languages is spoken in Scandinavia, which includes Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, and Icelandic. The Romance branch. This includes Spanish, which comes from Spain, Portuguese, which is used in Brazil, French, which is used in France, and Italian, which is used in Italy. Balto-Slavic branch, which is also part of the Indo-European family. This branch has divided into East, West, and South Slavic groups. The most widely used Slavic language is Russian. The importance of Russian increased with the Soviet Union rise to power. The Soviet Union forced Russian on people as a centripetal force, a force that brings unity to a nation, to bring cultural unity to the country's diverse people. Southeast Asia language families. Most people in East Asia use the Sino-Tibetan languages, and Mandarin being the most used language out of that family. The region's two other major languages include Japanese and Korean, and they are their own language family. Southeast Asia language family. Austronesian, mostly used in Indonesia, Austroasiatic, and Thai Kadai. Other language families. Dravidian and Turkic are also Asian language families. African language families include Afroasiatic, and Arabic is a language that is in that family. Niger-Congo and Yoruba is also a language that is used by that family, and Nilo-Saharan.
Over Kyushu 2. Why do languages diffuse? Origin and diffusion of Roman language. Romance language belongs to one branch because they originated from Latin, Romance language. The Roman army were extended to the Roman Empire that started in the Atlantic Ocean on the west of the Black Sea and the east of the lands that bordered the Mediterranean Sea. This brought Latin languages. The evaluation of the Romance language started with the migration of Latin speakers throughout the Western and Southern Europe during the Roman Empire more than 2,000 years ago. Origin and diffusion of English. The British Isles had been inhabited for thousands of years and had never been recorded of their early language until a tribe called Celts arrived to the island 2000 BCE. They spoke Celtic. Around 450 CE, the tribes from the mainland Europe invaded, this leading them to push Celts into remote northern and western of British parts including Cornwall, Highlands of Scotland, and Wales. German invasion. Jutes from northern Denmark, Angles from southern Denmark, and Saxons from northern Germany invaded the British Isles. The language they spoke helped evolve the modern English language. Angles came along the border between Denmark and Germany known as Schleswig-Holstein. At a point, Germanic people spoke a common language. This language would emerge from the Germanic group migrated. It separated the territories, isolated, making their languages evolve independently. Lingua franca. Lingua franca definition. A language of international communication such as English is known as a lingua franca. 90% of kids in the European Union learn English in middle and high school. Modern lingua franca languages include Swahili in East Africa, Hindi in South Asia, Indonesian in Southeast Asia, and Russian in the Soviet Union. Many American citizens don't realize how important it is to learn another language and how it could help you in your work life. For an example, it is easier for a Japanese business to send an American speaker than it is for an American business to send a Japanese speaker.
Issue 3. Why do languages vary among places? Official language. An official language is language used by government officials and used in public business as well as education. Working language is designated by an international organization as its primary way of communicating. The United Nations has 6 official languages, these being Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. The European Union recognizes 24 official and working languages. English is the official language in 56 countries, which is more than any other language. And English is predominant even in countries where it's not the official language, Australia, for example. Informal languages are new languages that are created by mixing English with other languages. Spanglish, for example, is one of these. To communicate with speakers of another language, 2 groups construct a pidgin language, which is a simplified form of a lingua franca. English dialects focusing on the UK. The British Isles have a variety of regional dialects. For example, what's known as Standard British English is primarily based on the London area, but does not reflect the entire nation's speech patterns. A dialect is a particular form of language which is peculiar to a specific region or social group. US versus UK English. Differences in vocabulary and pronunciation, and words like truck and lorry are different but they mean the same thing. Pronunciation and spelling develop differently due to the years of geographical and cultural differences. U.S. dialects. An isogloss is a boundary line between two distinct linguistic regions. Northern, Western, Midland, and Southern are the four main U.S. dialects, and based on which part of the UK the original settlers were from is how we develop these dialects. Other dialects used in America includes Appalachian English, African American Vernacular English, and American Sign Language. Creole languages. A Creole is a language that results from mixing the colonizer with the indigenous language. This is common in former European colonies like Haiti with their Haitian Creole, which is a mix of Haitian and French. Dialect or language. Distinction between a dialect and language can be political as well as linguistic. Some dialects are considered distinct languages due to cultural or national identity. An example of this is Catalan in Spain. Dialects may gain status as a language for political or national reasons. Standardizing language. Governments may try to promote one dialect as the standard for national identity, an example of this being Standard Italian or Standard French. Standard versions dominate official communication in media and education. Gender differences in language. Language reflects gender roles and expectations in different cultures. Men and women may speak differently in terms of word choice, tone, and style. Some languages have gender-specific words and grammar. An example of these languages is Spanish and French. Multilingual places. Some countries have multiple languages with varying levels of coexistence. Examples include Switzerland, Belgium, Nigeria, and Canada. Again, all of these countries have multiple languages with varying levels of coexistence. And managing linguistic diversity can be challenging due to cultural and political tensions. 4. Why do languages survive or perish? Endangered languages. An endangered language is one that children are no longer learning and its remaining speakers use it less frequently. There are 640 definitely endangered languages that are no longer being taught to children, 577 critically endangered languages that are only spoken by older people. Ethnologue has 2,447 endangered languages and classified 916 of them as dying because their parents do not speak them. 1,531 endangered languages are in trouble because parents who are fluent in them don't teach them to their children. A large percentage of the world's languages are endangered. These languages will not be passed down but will serve only through concentrated community efforts. South Pacific, Latin America, and North America have the largest number of dying languages. South Pacific and North America's dominant language is English, and Latin America's is Spanish and Portuguese. Isolated language. An isolated language is a language unrelated to any other, not attached to any language family. Isolated languages arise because there is little to no interaction between speakers of that language and another language. Status can be good or bad depending on how used it is. There are 7 isolated languages considered to be vibrant, and the rest are in stages of dying. Extinct languages. An extinct language is a language that was once used by people in daily activities, but is no longer used. Steps that lead to extinction are: languages become vulnerable to extinction when only used in non-public areas and at home. Languages become endangered when not taught to children. Languages are moribund when spoken by older people, and languages no longer spoken become extinct. An example of this is Taiwan had 9 languages belonging to the Austronesian family that have recently become extinct. Ethnologue has 74 languages in the U.S. that are extinct, and the UN listed 54 extinct languages. These languages were once spoken by Native American groups in the West. Growing languages. Hebrew is an example of a growing language, with the language mainly being used for Jewish religious services before the State of Israel was established. When Israel was established as an independent country, they made the official language Hebrew because the Jewish population of Israel consisted of refugees and migrants. Since Hebrew was still used in Jewish prayers, no other language could symbolically unify the cultural groups. New languages. Isolated languages continue to be discovered and entirely new languages are found.